Alrighty guys, what's going on? Linky here, and in today's video, I've had a couple days to play through Pokémon Violet. We've done a couple streams. We have discussed it amongst Pokemon YouTubers and social media. I wanted to give my first impressions of Scarlet and Violet, of the 9th generation of Pokemon. This is not a full review. These are going to be some of my thoughts after playing through a decent bit of the game, while also understanding that some of the things that happen in this game I don't know about yet because I have not finished it. It is a big game. So there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad, and there's a lot of ugly in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And we had some preconceived notions of this before release. We saw some trailers that showed the game running at a crisp 30 frames per second. I know some people will cringe when I say that, but compared to what we got, I would sign for it. And we also saw some trailers where a bunch of Sunflora were running at 5 frames running behind you, and it is indeed the reality when you play through that portion of the game. Now, I have not played through the entire game. I don't know the ending. I don't know some of the twists. I'm going to speak on spoilers to what I've played so far. So if I've encountered a new Pokemon or a new area that's relevant to this discussion, I'm going to say it in this video. So if you have not played Scarlet and Violet yet, and you do not want any possible spoilers, I would recommend clicking off the video and checking out my newest episode of the Eon Ticket podcast instead, where we do talk about some early thoughts as well, but there isn't a ton of spoilers in that. It came out recently. I'd recommend checking that out and subscribing to the channel. But in this video, let's go through where I'm at in the game. I am 3 badges deep into my adventure. I am 3 Titans deep into my adventure, and I have taken down 2 Team Star bases. Those are the areas of the map I've explored. I've kind of been going about it in a linear route. I've been following as the difficulty increases and really taking my time to explore some of the open world areas of the Paldea region that are around these checkpoints. I've also done some of the classes in the academy, and I've done a little bit of multiplayer in terms of trading and surprise trades and some interactions with friends. And here are the big points that I can make. The open world of Paldea is excellent. And while there is a fair critique that outside of catching Pokemon and battling with trainers, there isn't a ton to do, I think Pokemon accurately understands that most of the appeal of Pokemon is the Pokemon themselves. So filling the region and filling the world with all different types of creatures that are walking together in herds, that are interacting and outside watching your battles, getting to battle with trainers whenever you choose, and putting them not only on the pathways going through the open world areas, but also putting them out in the open, I think is all excellent. I also really like that there are caves and different passageways connecting different areas. When I defeated the Titan Pokemon in the desert, I found a cave that connected me back to the first area, near your home and near the professor's laboratory. Not in the professor's laboratory, near Nemona's house, excuse me. I thought that was really smart design. I also love how the Pokemon are settled in the region. There is some issues with Poppin, and we'll address all of that in the future, but I love that certain Pokemon species move together as packs, others are on their own, and I love that when you're engaged in a battle with a wild Pokemon or with a trainer, other Pokemon can run into the frame and interact, and you can watch what they do. Sometimes they'll be behind you just kind of monitoring the situation. Other times they'll get closer or move away. I just think that it makes the world feel more alive, and I think the open world is really well designed. While I do think there could be some more up and down, some more verticality to the Paldea region, I think that there's enough in certain areas that it is acceptable. And I also think that how you continue to unlock Koraidon and Miraidon's abilities to traverse that world are really well done. You do not get all of Koraidon and Miraidon's abilities from the start. You unlock more of them by beating Titan Pokemon. You unlock sprinting, higher jumps, flying, swimming, all of that as you continue the story, which allows you to then go back to previously unreachable parts of the open world and explore it on the back of your Pokemon. That is really good design, and it makes up for some of the restrictions that you experience at the start, where you say, well, this is an open world game, I should be able to go wherever I can. And you can go wherever your legs can take you, and then as you get stronger and your Pokemon gets more powerful, you can reach the areas that you cannot just get with your legs. You can get there with Koraidon and Miraidon's wings and with their inflatables and swimming through the water. It's really good design. Now, before we go any further, I just wanted to mention that the vast majority of you guys who are watching these videos and hopefully enjoying them aren't subscribed to the channel. Now, of course, subscribing is free and you can unsubscribe anytime. And if you do subscribe, be sure to turn that notification bell on so you never miss another upload. And check out the join tab, see if the perks interest you, and if you want to go the extra mile in supporting me, that is also always greatly appreciated. I'm going to do a whole video going over the Pokemon, but let me just say, I think the roster is really strong. There's a couple misses, but there are not a ton of them. From the Pokemon I've encountered so far, Annihilape is a major plus, Finizen is a major plus, Tandemaus and its evolution Maushold are awesome. These are some of the Pokemon, but I'll do a whole video discussing all the brand new designs, a ranking video in the future. One thing I want to praise with the Pokemon designs is the textures. I said this going into the game. I said this on the Eon ticket a couple days ago. The textures are phenomenal. Taking away the new Pokemon, because we've never seen them in other games. So many old Pokemon get brand new life in these games thanks to the textures. Pokemon like Magnemite and other electric and steel type Pokemon look like they're made of metal. Pokemon that look like they need to have massive tufts of fur all around their bodies look like they have legitimate fur. Pokemon like Growlithe, Pokemon like Pikachu, they look excellent. Pokemon like Koraidon and Miraidon, when you're riding on the back of them, or when you're looking at them in cutscenes with the oh my goodness, with the Titan Pokemon battles, look incredible. Totems and Titans are very similar, if you guys didn't realize. They look excellent. The level of detail is excellent. I cannot believe that we're seeing textures that look like they're on par with new Pokemon Snap in this generation, when I thought we were never going to see textures like new Pokemon Snap. The Pokemon roster is great, the designs of the Pokemon are great, and the texturing work of the Pokemon when they're loaded in, because the closer you get to these Pokemon, the better the textures look, is excellent. Trainer designs are also really good. Besides Mela and how she walks, trainers are excellent. All of this, these superficial things, Pokemon did a great job with Scarlet and Violet. Region design, character design, all solid. The negatives cannot be ignored. The first negative that I'll hit on before even discussing performance as a whole, open world cities are not it. If I was to go back and redo this game, I would do cities and towns like Jubilife Village in Legends Arceus. The fact that you have to load in the city while also keeping the open world loaded in taxes the performance immensely. Buildings, for the most part, you cannot go in. People, for the most part, have text boxes that appear over them, and you can't actually talk to them. When you're walking up to a person to try and talk to them, sometimes you'll get tripped up and you'll talk to the Pokemon next to them instead, and they just make their cry. There's nothing interesting about it. I don't like it. I don't think it's good game design. I don't think it's visually appealing. I don't think it's aesthetically appealing. I don't think it makes the game run any better. If it was up to me, you would load into every single city and town you can encounter. Every last one. I also don't love that there aren't normal Pokemon centers. I like the gas station Pokestops, and I think they're useful in the open world, but I miss the fact that there are no Pokemon centers in the towns and cities themselves, buildings that you can enter into. When you're in major cities, you cannot go into clothing stores and hair salons and all of these places. You just get menus that load, and this is for performance. This would not be a problem if you could load into these towns and cities. I think it's a major drawback of the open world towns and cities, and if I was Game Freak, I would redesign this in the future. Performance is not good. The games run at 5 to 10 frames per second more often than any game on this hardware should. The Nintendo Switch is not the PlayStation 1. Pokemon Legends Arceus looks and runs fabulously compared to these games. There need to be patches, there need to be updates for these games. These games cannot run this way into the future. It's not acceptable. These games are fun. There is an addicting gameplay loop of collecting items, training and catching Pokemon, battling with trainers, going to the Pokestops, and then getting to battle and get a reward for battling different trainers in the routes. There's a really good, and gyms and Titans and all of that. There's a really good gameplay loop here. The Academy has excellent information to garner. It's not like the trainer schools of old. You will learn things from the academy that help you on your journey, and it reinforces that central gameplay loop. There is a lot of good here, but it is not acceptable to see this level of poor performance in these games. I understand that this is going to sound like just parroting what other people are saying on social media, the basic criticisms, but this game has basic flaws. There are simple issues with this game that should not be present in a Switch game in 2022 when you have a game like Breath of the Wild, which was given as much development time as it needed, was delayed multiple years from its original release on Wii U to come out as a Switch launch title, and looks and performs like it was made 10 years into the future compared to Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. There's a great gameplay loop that doesn't excuse the problems. So that's ultimately my early impression of this game, is that there's a lot of really good stuff under the surface, but some of the surface level problems make it really hard to just blatantly admire the game and admire those positives. But what do you guys think down in the comments section below? Have you had fun with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet up to this point? I have, even though you need to be able to point out the criticisms. Let me know down below what your guys' thoughts are. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it in the future, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel and turn that notification bell on so you never miss another upload. I've been Linky, and we'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.